Coach, tell us about the Duke's quarterback. What's he bring to the field? What's some challenges for you against him?
Yes, sir. Well, first and foremost, obviously we played Duke this week. And Darian Mensah is a really special player. I thought the Malik Murphy kid they had last year was really good, and then obviously bringing a player equally or better, depending on how you look at it, as talented as the one they have now in Mensah. I mean, he's special, man. I mean, this is just one of, I'll probably say, a handful of NFL quarterbacks we're going to face this year. That dude's going to play on. This dude's going to play on Sunday. Very special player, live arm. Um, I mean, throws a beautiful ball from the pocket. I mean, he just the way he delivers and diagnoses things. I think they give him some freedom in that offense, whether he's making checks or calling certain plays. I mean, he's as gifted as they come, And so it's gonna be a tall task for us, obviously, to try to limit him and limit some of his explosives, and not even account for his ability to pull the ball and run. I do think he's a really good athlete on the perimeter, and so um, obviously they're paying him a lot of money. They probably don't want to get him hit, but I mean he can literally do it all, and so it's going to be a tall task. I think that as a defense we got to try to do our best we can to contain him. Man, he's special. I mean he's one of the better quarterbacks in my 5 years here that are probably going to have a chance to go against.
Aaron, you had some success last year bottling up some pretty talented
Yes, sir.
quarterbacks. Is there anything that's been a through line to that, or preparing for guys like this, or is it different each time?
I think it's a tad bit different every single time. The one that really sticks in my mind is right first game calling defense, and you go against Daquan Finn. I mean, I still get nightmares about that dude. I mean, his ability to run around and scramble and throw the ball, and obviously right Lenore Sellers was a little bit different than all of them, and so I just think just holistically right with his ability more than anything, I think Mensah's ability to throw the ball makes him that much more special. Like he is a pocket passer that has the ability to run. He's not an athlete that has ability to throw. He's a pocket passer that has ability to run. And I mean, obviously, when you can throw the ball as well as they did against Elon down the field, and then being able to pull the ball to run, I mean, that just opens up a can of worms for defenses as a whole. I mean, he's going to be a tall task. I just think we gotta make sure we try to do the best we can to keep the ball in front of us. Try to give him some different looks, man. But I mean, the kid's intelligent. I mean, he's obviously you can tell he's really smart in how he runs their offense. But I think kudos to the offensive coordinator Jonathan Brewer. I think Jonathan Brewer does a tremendous job in whether it's shifts, motions, right, variations of unbalanced sets, and just trying to cause some chaos defensively, right, and create some advantageous looks one on one for his players, and then just allowing the quarterback to play in rhythm and get the ball down the field. I mean, they have a very, very, very good offense for those reasons. Now, I'm mentioning Mensah, but you don't have a good offense if you don't have a really good O line, right? They got four guys returning up front that make them that much more dynamic and special. I mean, you talk about camaraderie. You talk about right, like being able to run the ball. They got a couple of backs. Actually got three backs, right? Very similar to our backfield. They got a three-headed monster back there in the backfield who, I mean, you got to be able to stop the run. I think them being able to run the ball opens up the pass game for them, and then you're just in trouble as a whole. But on top of that, they had some guys go to the NFL on the outside, and it just seemed like they just reloaded, And so, I mean, again, tall task at hand. We got to do the best we can to limit them, right? Try to limit some of their explosives. And I tell you guys this every year, like I try to say it. I know some people get caught up in stats defensively, man. My only stat I care about is points, right? Trying to do the best we can to keep them out of the end zone, right? Try to limit as many possessions and taking the ball away. That's going to be a major, major key to victory for us, and just trying to really, really capitalize on taking the ball away. I think last year, we were able to be in some advantageous situations and taking the ball away, and that can swing the momentum of a game, right? I think when a team is driving down the field and all of a sudden you take the ball away, that can change the flow and how an offensive coordinator calls a game, And so, but we got our work cut out for us this weekend. On top of right playing in a different environment, it's going to be 90 degrees, 90 plus degrees, right? All those things, and so we got to make sure our guys are locked in and ready to go on the road and play some really good Illinois football.
And what was your assessment of your new defensive line? Week
I thought they did a really good job. I know everybody's been talking about our secondary all off season, and I just slowly mentioned like I think our defensive line is our is the best is our best position group just from a depth standpoint. And I think you guys got a little glimpse of that this past week, man. I mean, they are special, right? You throw in Gabe Akis, outside backer, and that makes you throw in Daniel Brown, Alec Brown, Leon Lowry. We rotated a slew of guys, and that's how we foresee it, to be able to rotate those guys to have quality. Again, I call them 1A and 1B, a quality rotation up front. I think especially as the longer the game gets, you can create havoc for offensive linemen up front. And I thought they did a good job. I mean, again, stop the run, right? Like, I was solely focused on stopping the run, making sure we stop the run, just to try to make them one dimensional, try to make them throw the ball on us deep. I know they connected on a couple of them that we could have been in better position on, but that's just part of the game. But I really, really wanted to try to take away the run game, because I felt like I thought they did, especially last year, I thought they did a good job of running the ball and then throwing it down the field when they needed to. But from the assessment of our D-line, I thought that they played with gap integrity, had great hands and eyes. Coach J-Mo is just he's as fundamental gets, right? And then those backers on the second level, right, whether it's Dylan Rosiak, Malachi Hood, James Cruz, they played with great head and hands. And then you throw the outside backers in there. I thought that they made the secondary job that much easier, right? It was a couple of times I paused the film during the course of a play, and the wide receivers are maybe 5 yards downfield, and we had sacked the quarterback. Maybe 7 yards downfield. They're still running their route, and we sacked the quarterback. I mean, when you can do that, I mean, you alleviate a lot of things on the back end for your secondary.
Fair to say you've challenged Tommy Wadurjaye, you guys as a staff, throughout this process of getting him into the program. Like, how has he progressed since he's been here, and what does he give you up front?
Yeah, I mean, I think just like every last one of these young men who are in their 18 to 23-year-old, all of them are works in progress. I think Tomiwa's biggest thing is coming into our program. He just had to adjust to how we do things, right? It's no secret that he transferred from a couple of schools, and anytime I can remember as a child, when I was living with my mom, in one school year, I went to 7 different schools. One school year. Okay, I know that sounds probably crazy to you guys, but as you can imagine, I was a problematic child. Okay, my environment changed. I missed a bunch of days of school, and it was a lot of chaos, right? Because there wasn't any stability that allowed me to grow, right? Even when adversity came up. And so Tomiwa's found a home in what we do. And more importantly, he's found a coach like Coach Jamison, right? Coach Jamison's hard on his players, but all of Coach Jamison's players know that he cares about them. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit behind the scenes info, right? We're at a Friday night dinner, okay? And we've been having this Friday night dinner or the night before the game dinner the last 5 years since Coach has been here. My time at Arkansas with Coach, my time at Wisconsin with Coach. We always have dinner the night before the game, and this is the first time I've ever seen this done. James Thompson puts like 2 or 3 tables together, because typically it's tables and guys are sitting separate, but typically all the D linemen are at one table. Well, one table isn't big enough, so they got 2 tables. Well, James pulls tables together, right? Staff comes out and kind of reorganizes the table, right, so that all the defensive linemen could sit together. Right now, I know probably you guys are probably just like, man, so he pulled the table together. But for me, in my mind, right, if we're going to be a good defense, it starts with the gel and the glue from what we do up front. I was having a conversation with Coach Jamison the other day, and he said this is probably the closest group of guys that he's ever had up front. When I tell you these guys are close, like they are like close, right? And Tomiwa, James Thompson, Kurt Neal, all those dudes, right, play a part in that, right? And so when you speak about Tomiwa and just some of the things that flashed on Friday night for him, Tomiwa came into our meeting room on Thursday after practice, and he just wanted to come in there and see Coach Jamison. And I wanted to have a conversation with him in front of our D staff. And I look at him and tell him the only thing that's going to stop him from being great is him. And I thought in that moment he needed to hear that from me, right? Coach Jamison then proceeded to grab him, and kind of reiterate those same words in front of our D staff. You know, Tommy Watt special, James Thompson special, Kurt Neal special. We got some dudes up front who have the ability to play at a very, very high level here, right? And whether it's Tommy, whether it's some guys that transferred in this place, if they just do what we're asking them to do with some of the coaches that we have, they will have success. And I think you guys just saw a small fraction of that from Tommy Waugh on Friday night. And I'm really, really excited about that young man's future. He's put in the work. I think he has an environment now. He has a group of coaches now. Not to say that any of them didn't believe in him at 4, but, you know, I think he has nowhere to run now, right? And typically when you stop running, you start to man up and grow in areas that you know you need growth in. And from there, I think you can become the best player you're capable of being.
What's Matthew Bailey give you versatility-wise? It allows you to have all those different sub-packages, a lot of dime on Friday night. So.
Yeah, I mean, that you guys probably saw 5 or 6. I think we got like 13 different sub-package groups. I'm just trying to utilize all our players. I mean, we got some sub-package groups where we're getting a bunch of different guys in the game just because of our depth. But, you know, like I think what Matt Bailey brings is you're not sure if he's at the line of scrimmage and he's an outside backer, or he's in the box and he's a linebacker, he's in the middle of the field. Like he just, you know, I know you guys saw Miles Scott line up and play a little bit of nickel. You know, that was probably a little shocker to you guys. But we got guys in our secondary who I truly believe, you know, that they can do that, right? Like we've been saying this for a couple of years. We have defensive backs, right? We ask those guys to do a lot. You're not a corner, you're not a safety. Maybe you can be a corner or safety on that particular play, but sometimes they're outside linebackers and they're blitzing, you know. And so I put a lot on them because I think that they can handle it. But I mean, Matt's versatility, I think it can cause mismatches in trying to ID him and game plan for him. Like, where is he going to be? What is he? Right. And making sure you pick him up, whether he's blitzing or he's dropping or trying to ID where he is. It can cause a little bit of confusion for teams.
How do you think the defensive backs played against Western Illinois? What was your assessment, and what do you want to see heading into Duke week?
Well, I never like big plays, right? We always talk about a catalyst of a defense that's not good is giving up big plays, you know, and more so big plays to where guys are scotch-free. You know, man, this is Division I football. Guys are going to make plays. The young man from Western Illinois tonight made a phenomenal catch. I mean, oh, my goodness. That catch was unreal, right? And what's even crazier is Caleb had his hand on the ball, right? I can live with that every day of the week, right? Like those kind of plays are going to happen when you play a lot of man-to-man coverage, you know? And so more importantly, what I don't like is when we cut guys free and guys are wide open down the field and wearing some kind of man coverage, you know? And so that's what lights me up sometimes. And so, you know, even going into halftime of that game, I know a lot of people were fixated on right, like making my mindset was again points. Right, as crazy as that may have seemed, I know we were up 31-0, but it's 0-0 to me, man. It's a new half, right? Again, I remind our players, I'm constantly reminding them, we haven't had a lot of. I'm talking about like historically, Illinois hadn't had a lot of success here. Right. And when they have had success, you follow it up with a year of not being successful. Like, what are we going to do different? You know, what is it going to take for us to like have that mentality of when you got a team down, you got to keep them down. Like you got to put the nail in the coffin. You know what I mean? And so my message to them during the course of halftime was, all right, this is a brand new ball game. Let's start fast. You know, I know they end up having a 17-play drive where they connected on a couple third downs, made a great catch, and you know, we ended up holding them to 3 points, but like, I don't like that. I don't want to hold them to 3. I want to hold them to none. I want to block the field goal, right? Like that's just the mentality that I'm constantly trying to pour into our guys, because those 3 points, right? Maybe not this game, but the next one could be the difference between winning and losing. So we're hard on them, man, but it's all in the mindset and the mind frame of like greatness doesn't care who you are, where you're from, how you grew up. Right, it just wants you to get the job done, right? And if we're going to be the defense that I think we're capable of being, right, it's going to take that every week and every game.
Aaron, how did Miles come to be at that nickel spot? And then if Juice is unavailable this week, the option to keep Xavier outside, what does that unlock that Miles can play there?
Yeah, I think it unlocks a whole bunch of different things, right? Like I know Miles had an interview with you guys a couple weeks ago, and he says, you know, anybody can do it. It's easy, right? Like, he lied. Everybody can't do it. That cat was being humble. Miles is a damn good football player. Miles is probably, outside of Kevin Richardson, probably one of the smartest players I've had. I say that along with Matt Bailey. But you know, he understands what we're trying to get done defensively, and he knows, right, like where he can line up at, the look I want to show pre-snap. You know, like I can have the same call in, and sometimes out of that same call, I'm showing a 2-high look. Sometimes out of the same call, I'm showing a single high look. And so I think what it allows for us to do, just from a versatility standpoint, is he's lining up in the nickel position, especially showing his ability to cover. It just gives us a lot more flexibility because I can move Matt to the post, right? I bring Mac Versatility in, who's kind of flying under the radar, and now he made a couple plays down on the goal line. He's versatile, and so like just having that depth, you know, especially as the season kind of gets longer. I've said this to guys every year, and since I've been here, there's going to be somebody called into the line of duty that may have not started the first couple of games, that may not have played that much, and so we got to make sure we're ready. And I'm tweaking that by just making sure we got enough packages in place to where I can utilize guys in certain positions.